Good morning. It is a wonderful Wednesday, August 27th. I'm Zach Howard. Forget CPI Day, forget GDP Day, even forget Fed Day. With all the macro tourists, everybody getting excited. This is the big party day that everybody should be waiting for all summer. It's NVIDIA Day, the day that the biggest company in the world reports earnings. And can they keep the party going? They better. They better keep the party going because the correlation between NVIDIA, $4.45 trillion in fiat market cap value, US dollar value, and the S&P 500 is pretty much lockstep, as you can see. White line, NVIDIA. Yellow, orange line, SPY. Where do we sit going into the earnings implications? The options market is telling us there's an implied move after the day's closing of 5.87 to 5.93%. You're up or down. Don't know. My bet is going to push it higher because we look historically, 8 out of the last 8 quarters, the company has beat. This guy, Jensen, he is running the show with his black leather coat, looking like a rock star on stage. He knows how to do it. He knows how to work Wall Street. There's 71 buy ratings on the company, an old wall analyst, only 8 holes. One brave soul has a sell recommendation. Current price 181, target price 196. Beat and raise, beat and raise. That is what this company does. But can they grow the trees to the sky, continuing to impress the market? But can they keep the beat going? That's what we're going to wait to see. However, zooming out, realize this is the last week of summer. Everybody in Wall Street is still in the Hamptons, sipping on their rosé, eating their Newfoundland snow crab, enjoying the sunshine with their family. It's the lowest trading volume of the year this week and this month. That's showing up in the last couple of trading sessions and over the last week since last Friday. So it won't take much to push this market higher to new all-time highs, which that volatility in the VIX continues to fall down, and saying that is my bias where we're going to close out the week, close out the month. Looking at the chart here of that largest company in the world, NVIDIA, in Canadian dollar terms, it's $6 trillion in fiat CAD dollars, Canadian loonies. It is bigger than 3,417 publicly traded companies in Canada. Market cap of their combined value in Canadian dollars, roughly 5.1 trillion. So one company bigger from a fiat dollar standpoint than all the rail companies, all the iron ore, copper, oil and gas companies, all the REITs, Spotify, all the big banks, even the future Mr. Technology companies that are sitting inside the venture. This one company with its semiconductor chips that everybody wants to power the new technology world is bigger than all those. Come on. Is it a bubble? Arguably, yes, but that doesn't matter. Catalyst is not valuation in today's world. It's going to go until it's not going to go anymore. But looking at the chart here over the last 5 years, priced in Bitcoin, priced in gold, things that can't be replicated, like fiat dollars. The NVIDIA to gold ratio peaked last year, back in June. The NVIDIA to Bitcoin ratio peaked last July. To me, NVIDIA is the poster child for the debasement of currencies, seen through the lens of capital wants to go where it is most liquid, and the most liquid stock in the world, more liquid than most government bonds. NVIDIA represents 3.57% of all total global equities. All the companies in the world, one company, arguably the most powerful than most of the G20 countries. But what is the implications of that longer term for all the wealth that is sitting inside this beast of NVIDIA? It's systematically, globally important to keep this thing going, at least not for it to implode, because there's so much capital tied up into this belief. Looking here, this is my favorite chart. Normalized price, forget the fiat value. Look at the measured in gold ounces. It's pretty steady. Just like you look at house prices in Canada and the US over the last 5-10 years. Hasn't changed in ounces of gold to buy your house. If anything has gone down, the only thing that's changed is the fiat market cap of houses of NVIDIA. Bitcoin price, NVIDIA. And then we have the fiat price up and to the right. So something not like the others. It's the fiat. It's the problem. However, risk adjusted even for volatility, no doubt about it. NVIDIA has smoked even gold and Bitcoin, who've been the other two great performers over the last 5 years. NVIDIA has smoked them over the last 1 year. Same thing. NVIDIA is continuing to be the king until they're not. On to other items in my notebook. Ethereum continues to get the flows from Bitcoin. It's continuing to get those ETFs. Had a little bounce in Ethereum, Solana, the altcoins, and a smaller bounce because of its smaller volatility in Bitcoin over the last couple of days. And really had to get the ADA back with these big flows to move Bitcoin back to near all-time highs, which we seen 2 weeks ago, I think, especially with this low volatility environment. Speaking of low volatility environment and projecting out a steepening yield curve now at 58 basis points wide on the U.S. 10-year yield versus the U.S. 2-year. If anything, this is the bond market saying in growth and inflation to continue to accelerate. That widening yield curve usually indicates positiveness from that standpoint of a macro backdrop. It's the highest that spread has been in quite some time. It was correlated 1-to-1 for a while here and actually inverted. And back to one of the other areas I focus on is there's spreads between the high yield sector of the credit space, which is the most vulnerable to a slowdown. That is when you're going to see spreads widen very quickly. As of now, not so much. Half of the bonds inside the high yield space is less than 200 basis points spread difference. So no sign of any concern in the volatility of treasuries, in bonds, in stocks. But that could all change in an instant, probably into September. Only so much lower we can go. Have a great day. We'll be back soon with more videos. Thanks for stopping by. If you're interested in the Quantum Wave Fund, hit me up for some information there. And I'm excited, if you're part of the group, to share our macro backdrop trading tunnels product, some color around that in tomorrow's report. Have a good one.